It's early morning at the Asa Wright Nature Reserve. Already scores of birds and animals can be seen from the veranda in rich abundance. However, a much more sinister sight lurks in the distance. There's a nasty scar developing on the surface of the mountain, but this is no natural ailment. Rather, it's the work of hungry excavators eating their way into the ground for aggregate. This is the quarry, which has been leased to Malaysian company Sunway, one which will see millions of tons of material removed over the next 5 years. And so, just a stone's throw from where the folk of Asa Wright tried to preserve the environment, explosions have started to rock the sky. Now those in charge of the reserve are worried about the impact it's going to have on one of the best known places in Trinidad and Tobago. Asa Wright is named after the former owner and is dedicated to preserving the rich flora and fauna of the Northern Range. It's so well known that 23 years ago Prince Philip visited the center, and it was high on the list of places for his son Prince Charles to visit in March 2008. Asa Wright has been recognized throughout the Caribbean and the world, and in 1999 the Audubon magazine selected the center as one of the world's ultimate outposts. The center has also received the Hummingbird Gold Medal for community service. But quite apart from its amazing 400 species of birds, there is one in particular that is most easily accessed at Asa Wright, a creature so unique it's been placed into a category all its own, and one whose very existence at Asa Wright is now being threatened because of the operations of the quarry. Meet the oil bird, or guacharo.
These birds are so special. They are the only nocturnal fruit-eating birds in the world, and they navigate by echolocation, making them really, really special. The only other thing that flies at night that's going to be doing this would be bats.
The oil bird is found only in a few select locations, and Trinidad is one of them. A world-famous entomologist discovered the birds in a cave in Asa Wright some 4 decades ago. Since then, the Dunstan Cave, named after John Dunstan, has become the most accessible place to see the birds in the world.
People leave all over the world to come here mainly because of that main fact.
People like Steve Mills, a South African who was in Trinidad for business and had to come see the oil bird.
I think it's well organized, and obviously the control of the oil bird or access to the oil birds is very important. I think it's doing a great job there.
The oil bird is so special and well protected that the trail is barred to visitors unless you're specifically with a guide. It's a half-mile hike along what is commonly referred to as the Venom Trail.
Well, on this trail it's more enclosed. The leaf litter is quite thick, and the venomous snakes we have on the island, they love this.
In spite of that, it remains the only place to access a prepared trail, taking you right up to the mouth of this gorge. Finally, a chance to walk in and see the only echolocation using bird in the world, diabolting, the oil bird. And here they are, a sight many bird lovers throughout the world have longed to witness firsthand, an avian treasure right under our noses. Steve Mills says he's sure to share his experience when he gets back to South Africa.
I have a number of friends who are also fortunate enough to travel, and I'll put this on their agenda for them.
So when he heard and saw the quarrying taking place, this was his reaction.
I would be somewhat concerned. Surely it will be a huge disturbance to the birds and to the whole environment generally.
He's not the only one concerned. The guides at Asa Wright, led by Mukesh Ramdas, fear that the country's most famous nature site is under very real threat from the operations of the quarry. What are the implications of that to the center? And it was a quarry that was in operation before. What happened then?
Well, I remember again, there was a lot of blasting in that quarry, and that also disturbed the oil birds. I would say about 22 years ago. When they blast, because of the vibration, because if you observe the cave, it's rocks, and that disturbed the oil birds, and they all started to leave the cave.
That event took place in the early 1980s. It's a bad memory that has returned to haunt the guides.
We have a lot of mammals here. Again, the dust, the debris that is going to be falling all over the plants. Again, most of the animals going to be feeding on plants. Also, the little microorganisms you find under the leaf litter and so on. If it's all covered in dust, these things cannot survive.
Well, it will affect the wildlife, the trees, the birds, the plants, the insects, because they're cutting a lot of the trees, bulldozing the entire forest there.
Clint Quintal is a local now residing in Miami. It was he who first brought the concerns of the Sunway Quarry to the board of Asa Wright.
When the blasting starts to go on in earnest, echolocation that the birds use, the echoing of that sound through the rock strata is going to chase them away just like it did in the 1980s.
He was stunned to learn that approval had been given to restart the quarry, and he says government has a responsibility to review the situation, especially since it signed on to the UN Convention on Biodiversity.
By allowing sensitive areas of biodiversity in this country to go under to rampant industrialization without any planning, we are breaking international law.
Quintal says he not only intends to raise the issue back in the US, but among environmental groups throughout the world, including the Prince of Wales. Meantime, work goes on at the quarry, and although it was officially expected to start at the beginning of August, those living at the foot of the mountain claim it's been going on for some time already.
Yeah, probably start back about 3 months now. 3 to 4 months now, yeah.